Hello everyone. Today I have a story that will keep you on the edge of your seat. It's about betrayal, hidden secrets, and the shocking truth that comes out when you least expect it. Stay with me because what happened in this house will change everything.
Mom, please. It's so dark down here. He locked the door. The line crackled, then I heard it. A soft, broken sob like she was trying not to breathe too loudly. My name is Clara Whitmore, I'm 42. How does a mother not recognize the moment her own home stops being safe for her child? My hand tightened around the phone as I stood frozen in the kitchen, staring at the half-cut birthday cake sitting on the counter. Pink frosting. Her favorite. The candles still unlit. Say that again, I whispered, forcing my voice steady. He said I stole the money. Mom, I didn't. I swear. Her voice trembled. He pushed me down here and locked it. He's upstairs. Laughing. Upstairs. In my house. The call ended abruptly, like someone had taken the phone from her. For a second everything went quiet. Even the clock on the wall felt like it stopped ticking. The chair at the dining table looked like it was waiting for me, like it knew something I didn't. I grabbed my keys, my heart pounding in a slow, heavy rhythm. As I stepped out, one thought kept repeating in my mind. Not panic. Not fear. Just a cold, unfamiliar clarity. If she was telling the truth, then the man waiting inside my house was not the man I married. And somehow, deep down, I already knew that. The front door was unlocked. That alone felt wrong. I pushed it open slowly, the faint creak echoing through the house like a warning. The smell hit me first, something sweet, almost artificial. Vanilla. The birthday cake. Clara, his voice called from the living room, calm. Too calm. I stepped inside, my heels soft against the floor, each step measured. The house looked untouched. Perfect even. Like nothing had happened. Then I saw him. Ethan stood by the window, hands in his pockets, a faint smirk resting on his face like he'd been expecting me. You're home early, he said casually. Where is she? I asked. He tilted his head slightly, amused. Your daughter. A soft chuckle slipped out. Probably hiding after what she did. My chest tightened. Open the basement. He laughed this time. Not loud. Not angry. Just mocking. Claire, you know how she is. Always dramatic. Always lying. The word lying hung in the air like smoke. I didn't respond. I just walked past him, straight toward the basement door at the end of the hallway. I heard his footsteps behind me. Slow. Unhurried. You really believe her? He asked quietly. My hand rested on the basement handle. So, I believe what I hear, I said. And right then, I heard it again. A faint sound. Not crying this time. Scratching. Soft. Desperate. Repeating. My fingers tightened around the handle as something inside me shifted. This wasn't just fear anymore. This was proof. The scratching stopped the moment I twisted the handle. For a second there was only silence. Thick, suffocating, unnatural. Then, Mom. Her voice came out small like it had been hiding. I pulled the door open and the darkness below swallowed the light from the hallway. The air that rose up was cold and damp, carrying that same strange sweetness. Stronger now. I'm here, I said, already stepping down. Behind me I felt Ethan pause. Not stopping me. Just watching. Each step creaked under my weight. Slow. Careful. My hand slid along the wall until I found the switch. The single bulb flickered. Once. Twice. And then the basement came into view. She was sitting on the floor near the far wall, her knees pulled tight to her chest. Her hair messy, her eyes wide and glassy. The moment she saw me, she stood too fast, stumbling forward. Mom. I wrapped my arms around her before she could fall. I didn't do it, she whispered into my shoulder, her voice shaking. I didn't take anything. I swear. I know, I murmured, though I hadn't seen anything yet. But then, I looked past her. And that's when I noticed it. A small metal box, sitting on the old wooden table in the corner. And beside it, stacks of cash. Neatly placed. Too neatly. Like they were meant to be found. My breath slowed as something cold settled in my chest. This wasn't chaos. This was arranged. Carefully. Deliberately. And suddenly, the basement didn't feel like a place he locked her in. Felt like a stage. I didn't touch the money. I just stood there holding her hand, staring at the neat stacks like they were watching me back. Did you come down here before? I asked softly. She shook her head quickly. No, he dragged me. I didn't even know this was here. Her fingers tightened around mine, cold and trembling. Behind us, I heard the slow, measured sound of Ethan stepping down the stairs. One step at a time. Like he wasn't worried. Like he already knew how this would end. You see it now? He said calmly. She took it. Panicked. Hid it down here. I turned slightly, just enough to look at him. No, I said. That one word made his smirk falter. Just for a second. I let the silence stretch. Let him feel it. Then I stepped closer to the table, my eyes scanning every detail. The box wasn't broken. No scratches. No force. The money wasn't scattered. No fingerprints visible. No rush. No fear. Just precision. Too perfect. I reached out. But instead of grabbing the cash, I lifted the lid of the metal box fully. Inside, something caught the light. A small black device. Blinking. Red. Once, twice, steady. Camera. Recording everything. I slowly turned my head toward Ethan. And for the first time since I walked in, he wasn't smiling anymore. The silence shifted. Not empty this time. Heavy. Tugging. Because whatever story he had prepared upstairs was already falling apart down here. The red light blinked again. Steady. Unbothered. Like it had been waiting for me to notice. I didn't say anything right away. I just kept my eyes on Ethan. Explain it, I said quietly. He exhaled through his nose, forcing a small laugh. Security. You know, after the missing money. Security, I repeated, my voice calm. My daughter's grip on my arm tightened. I could feel her shaking again. Then why is it inside the box? I asked. He didn't answer. That silence, it said more than anything else. I stepped closer to the table, slowly this time, letting my fingers hover near the edge of the box. I could feel his attention sharpen behind me. You already knew the money would be here, I continued. You wanted it recorded. For proof, he said quickly. Too quickly. I turned fully now, facing him. For who? Another pause. Upstairs, something shifted. A faint vibration like a phone buzzing against wood. Then another. And another. Ethan's eyes flicked upward for just a second. That was all I needed. You told someone, I said. His jaw tightened. You didn't just accuse her, you staged this. My daughter let out a quiet, broken breath behind me. And now, I added softly, you're waiting for them to arrive, aren't you? The house above us felt suddenly alive. Not safe. Not ours. Like the walls themselves were listening. And whatever was coming through that front door was meant to end this in his favor. The buzzing upstairs stopped. Then came the sound of the front door opening. Not rushed. Not loud. Deliberate. Ethan didn't move this time. He just stood there, his face tightening in a way I hadn't seen before, like control was slipping inch by inch. Stay behind me, I whispered to my daughter. Footsteps echoed above us. Maybe 3 people. Heavy. Visual. Then a voice called out, firm and unfamiliar. Hello? Anyone home? Ethan finally spoke, louder now. Down here. Of course. He was still trying to play it out. I turned back to the table, my fingers finally picking up the small camera. It was warm, still recording. A quiet hum sat inside it, almost like a heartbeat. Clara, he started. Don't, I cut him off. The footsteps reached the basement door. It opened halfway, lights spilling down again. 2 officers stepped into view, their eyes scanning the room. The money, the box, my daughter, me, and finally Ethan. She stole from me, he said quickly, pointing. I locked her down here until you arrived. I have proof. Proof. I held up the camera. No, I said calmly. You made proof. The room fell still. One of the officers stepped closer. Ma'am, what exactly is on that device? I looked at Ethan. Really looked at him this time. And for the first time, he looked afraid. Everything, I said. Ethan's face paled under the harsh basement light. Everything, he whispered, voice cracking. I nodded slowly, holding the camera like a judge's gavel. Every accusation you made, every word you twisted, all staged. The officers moved closer, taking the camera from me. They glanced at my daughter, then back at him. His smirk was gone, replaced by something heavier: shame, fear, disbelief. He opened his mouth to argue, but no words came. My daughter stayed behind me, silent now, eyes wide but steady. I could feel her drawing strength from the same clarity I had felt earlier. The officers spoke quietly among themselves. Then one looked at him directly. "You know this is a crime, right? False accusations, attempted entrapment, not to mention locking a minor in the basement." Ethan swallowed. His hands shook slightly at his sides. That small tremor, the one you see when someone's carefully constructed world is crumbling, it was mine to watch. I stepped forward, letting the silence stretch between us. The money still sat neatly stacked on the table. The camera's red light had gone off, but its presence lingered like a witness. And in that quiet, I realized something bitter and beautiful. All his control, all his manipulation, had been dismantled, not by shouting, not by confrontation, but by simple truth quietly revealed. I looked at my daughter, then at him. And finally I smiled softly. The reckoning had arrived. Ethan was silent now. The officers guided him toward the stairs, his steps slow, weighed down by disbelief. My daughter stayed close, her hand in mine, no longer trembling. I walked back to the table, letting my fingers brush over the neat stacks of cash. They were evidence now, but they also symbolized something else. The control he thought he had, stripped away by his own arrogance. My daughter's eyes met mine. No words were needed. We shared a quiet acknowledgement. We had survived the betrayal and we had reclaimed our space. I picked up the small camera, its red light gone, now just an object. I held it gently like a talisman, then placed it back in the box. Evidence, yes, but also a reminder. A reminder that justice didn't need to roar. It could be quiet, patient. I had let it speak for me. Outside, the sun had begun to set, spilling gold through the basement window. Shadows stretched long, soft, forgiving. For the first time in weeks, the house felt like ours again. I bent down, hugged my daughter tightly, and whispered, "No one can do this to us again." And in that stillness I understood. Revenge isn't in breaking someone else. It's in reclaiming your dignity, your home, your truth. The past was exposed, the lies unraveled, and our bond stronger than ever.